right. So, unlike all of the LeBron James rumors, we are actually back. The rumors are true here. Welcome to the first edition of the Dirty Birds Draft HQ podcast. I'm your host, Saivion Mixon. With me is my boy, my main man, Hunter Thompson. Hunter, bro, how are you feeling today, my man?
Oh man, we are out here thriving. We're surviving. Things are going great.
You're going great, man. This has been months in the making, if not years at this point, because it has been an insane couple of years. But we were like, yo, we got to come back and we got to talk about these dirty birds, man. We got to understand what's going on, why it hasn't been as successful these last couple of years, what this new regime is going to look like, and quite frankly, what can be done to where this can become a contender again. You know, it's been a decade now, Hunt.
Oh god, dude, it's been so long. I last playoffs was 2017.
So yeah, this will be a decade. This will be one full decade since we've been in the playoffs, bro. How does that make you feel, man? You've
I
been
kind of hate it.
you're 10 years older than the last time you saw the Falcons in the playoffs, bro.
Dude, oh, god man, it's truly infuriating why we're not, because I feel like we should be closer, but we keep sniffing, we keep getting almost there, and then we're never there, you know?
Mhm.
Like we had those couple years, like the first year of Arthur Smith, we had the Raheem Morris years where it felt like we were just getting there and not quite doing it.
Like literally scratching the surface of a playoff berth, and it's insane.
It's truly infuriating about why we can't get there, because we should, on paper we've had talent, we've had good players since then, we've had moments of just pure oh shit, that's bright. uh sorry, I'm getting my computer set up still. um that's fine. um but we've had great players, we've had Bijan, we had Matt Ryan, we had Desmond Ritter,
Mhm.
in terms of Falcons greats. But
Mhm.
like, it's just infuriating because I feel like we're constantly a piece away. We're doing, oh, here we go.
Oh man, he had to go to the other side. Oh my gosh. We get the all 22 views, my guy.
Ooh, baby, we are back.
We got the all 22 view. I love it.
I'm trying to. My room's a little dirty, so I'm trying to like.
Nope. Don't blur it. You don't get to blur it. Nah, man. This is
Nah,
this is
nah,
the
nah,
life
nah,
that
nah,
you
nah.
chose.
You get to blur yours. I get to blur mine.
I blurred mine because I'm not home. You're at home. You chose that life.
Visual effects.
That's a bet. That's cool. All right.
Haha.
Bro, put a brick wall up. That's insane.
No. We're gonna go with the
That's
blur.
cool.
We're gonna go with the blur.
That's cool.
Okay, as I was saying, we've had a lot of good players over the years.
Mhm.
We wasted most of Grady Jarrett's career not hitting the playoffs. AJ Terrell hasn't even been in the playoffs yet, and he's been here since 2020. Calvin Ridley only had one playoff appearance as a Falcon.
Mhm.
Actually, no, he didn't have a single one. Because last time we were there was before we
Calvin
drafted
Ridley?
Ridley.
Correct. That's right. That was that 2016, 2017, and then that's the next year. That's disgusting work.
Tack
That-
McKinley had a playoff appearance, though.
That's a shameful name to bring up on a draft podcast about the Falcons. That is a
You're
that is
telling
a
me.
shameful name.
You are
Um,
telling me.
but yeah. So first things first, man. First things first, we gotta welcome in and we gotta tell everybody what we're doing today, which is we are doing a snake draft, or we've done a snake draft. Uh, Figuring out some fits for this Falcons team, man, that we could maybe somehow could find a way to get us into into the playoffs and maybe even into contendership as early as next year. Do you think that's a possibility, or do you think I'm just shooting over the moon here, bro?
I think it's both. I mean, I think there's a level of shooting over the moon, but I think there are some crucial needs that this team needs to address. Um, and we're definitely going to be talking about those as well.
For sure. All right. So let's dive right into it. You got the first pick in this draft. It's a snake draft, 1, 2, 2, 2, and then I think I finished it off with one more.
You did. Okay,
So,
let me pull my first one up. I already know who it was. Actually, no, I was wrong in my first pick. My first pick was Trevor Gooseby, the offensive tackle out of Texas. And I bet you're wondering, Hunter, the trenches aren't fun. No, but the trenches are freaking essential. Caleb McGarry just retired. Jawan Taylor's cool. I think in terms of everything, that was the best case scenario we could have done, was get Jawan Taylor. By far. Experienced starter, has playoff experience. He's been on winning teams. Like he knows what it takes to do these things.
Right.
But Jake Matthews is still old.
Quite.
And Trevor Gooseby is an athletic tackle. He started left tackle this season for the Longhorns, and I think overall it could be a guy that if we needed him to step in immediately, he could. But I also think he could sit behind Jake for that year or learn how to play right tackle. Like, I think there's ways to do it to benefit us in the long run. This is a guy that's probably going to go early. It depends on how he develops this season, and if he even declares, because he's technically an underclassman. So it's going to be dependent on that.
There's going to be a lot of those in this episode. There's going to be a lot of underclassmen in this episode.
Lots of underclassmen in this episode, but now I've been screaming to the trenches for years about how we need to get a tackle, get somebody young, get somebody in that position, and I think he's the guy. I think that's also dependent, I will say, on if our QB position works itself out, that you can draft a tackle as a luxury that early.
Right.
Because there's a time and a place to do stuff like that. And if we're picking, I don't know, we'll say top 5, you don't want to have to draft a tackle in the top 5 without a franchise quarterback. But like if we were picking like, I don't know, 15, yeah, game on, let's go.
Right. And so that's the thing about this exercise, which I was struggling so much with, because I'm like, there's so much uncertainty at the quarterback position that you can't really go outside of quarterback. You have to kind of have one, and both of us have one in this exercise that we're going to be talking about. But if you were really looking forward and trying to understand, like, what else do we desperately need? I think the first thing that comes to mind is an offensive tackle, whether that's left or right side at this point. Of course, we don't know what the blind side of the next quarterback is going to be, because we have no idea who it's going to be. Even though we have a left-handed, we have just a complete infatuation with left-handed quarterbacks right now. I don't get it. I don't understand it. But hey, if they like it, I love it.
Someone's got to do it. You know, there's left-handed QBs. Someone in this league has to take them all.
And apparently, we're collected them like freaking Infinity Stones, so that works. That's fine.
Only one we're missing is Cole Payton.
You would love that, wouldn't you? You would love
that. I would have done things for Cole. We
got Will out here now, bro. I didn't hear a word you just said.
You didn't have to. I was just praising Cole Payton from NDSU, and
no. Nobody ever thought that we would hear about Cole Payton on a draft pod in what is this, late July of 2026. No, that's not what I was thinking I was going to come up with.
I would have been screaming for him to be our QB1, to be totally honest with you.
I'm sure you would have, and I sure, man, whatever. All right. We're going to continue on. But yeah, that's the crazy part about this exercise, is that, the offensive tackle position in Gooseby, I can't see him getting out of the top 10. And the problem with this roster is if you're having a top 10 pick next year, that more than likely means that the quarterback position is not where it needs to be. And we've seen this a couple of times. That's the reason why the Penix pick even occurred, is because the Falcons continuously find themselves as being bad enough to where they are not contenders for even a playoff spot for real, but not bad enough to where they're in contention for one of the 2, 3 top quarterbacks in the draft. Like that 2024 draft, you see the 3 marquee quarterbacks that came off, and you see what they've done and why they were so highly touted. The 3 that came after them, including Penix, you also see all of their works and why they were not the top 3 in that draft. And so you continuously find yourself in this position, and I guess that's why I guess the Falcons needed to start the second QB run in 2024 to make sure they got their guy, because they were hoping that they would never be that high again. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. But
Yeah, I mean it
yeah,
like with Penix, with JJ, with Bo Nix, you see flashes of brilliance from all 3 of them, and you also see by far their fatal flaws.
and yes, there are flashes with JJ McCarthy. We understand that it was mostly bad, but there are flashes.
It was mostly bad with JJ, but like that being said, a big knock on him coming out was lack of experience, lack of really throwing the ball. And you're seeing that right now from him, where it's just he's kind of struggling to adapt to the NFL game. But like there's still moments where you watch him make the perfectly layered throw. He makes the right thing. He's put the team on his back in moments. And then you have Penix, who you see him uncork a ball 40, 50 yards downfield with ease. You see him step in the pocket and just drive it in. You see moments from him that are just wonderful. And then you see him struggle with pressure. You see him struggle with over the middle throws. You see him not be able to stay injuries. I mean, that was part of it too. And then Bo Nix, you see a fantastic game manager. But when Bo Nix has to get into a shootout with Josh Allen, Mahomes, Lamar, you kind of start to see he's not built like that. Mm-hmm. And
not many are.
Not many are. But like when you're in the AFC, you kind of need a guy that can do those things. And don't get me wrong, I think the Broncos are doing something awesome out there with how they're building their defense, how they're letting Bo Nix just play game manager, and it's working. It's working well for them. But is that sustainable? I don't know. And then, I mean, obviously, like that's what happens when you have to reach down to the second tier of guys where they have all these cool traits, but they also do have big red flags. When you looked at Caleb Williams, when you looked at Jaden Daniels, when you looked at Drake May, they didn't have those.
And if they were red flags, they're green flags. Like for instance, with Jaden Daniels, like the fact that he simply just got blasted as a prospect. I mean, the hits that Jaden Daniels would take were horrendous, and that is one thing that has shown up in his career, that he will take some damage, but the things that he does well, it just overshadowed it.
It's worth it. It's worth it at that point.
It's worth it.
Yeah. And the Falcons need to figure out right now if Penix is worth it.
And there's a chance that he is, and we can go and we can look at some of these other guys that are on our list that we can just sort of like salivate over. But until then,
we will happily be wrong. We will happily own that we are wrong about Michael Penix.
100%. 100%. And honestly, I can't wait for the day. Like I cannot wait for the day.
I would love to be wrong.
I cannot wait for the day Michael Penix throws for 387% completion percentage with like 10 throws over the middle to Drake London and Kyle Pitts. I would love it. I would love it. Just got to see it first. But yeah, going back to Trevor Goosby, really good prospect, really good movement skills. Doesn't even know if he's going to what's it called? Doesn't even know if he's going to come out or not. But just a guy that you could see being your left tackle or right tackle. I think he does. I think he does have the chops where he can move over to the right for years to come. So 100%. I mean, that's a great call out by you. All right, I got two. My first one. Let me pull up my Google Doc here. One thing I'm gonna do, man. I'm gonna have a Google Doc. My first one, Jordan Seaton, man. Jordan Seaton from LSU, number one transfer, offensive tackle. Second team, all Big 12 last year, was one of the lone bright spots from an otherwise forgettable season in Colorado. What's crazy is I think Deion Sanders actually shut down Julian Newman when in the Kansas State game when he figured out that Seaton was not coming back. I thought that was just funny. Freshman All-American in 2024. If you watch him in the run game, and if you read up on Daniel Flick, shout out to him, and the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, he does a great story about how the Matt Ryan has basically brought in Kevin Stefanski to make the run game a weapon, like to weaponize the run game and to weaponize Bijan Robinson. One of the ways that you do that is you have athletic linemen that are not afraid to put their helmets in the chest of these defenders. And Jordan Seaton is one of those guys, but he is not. Let me see. I want to make sure I'm not getting him confused. Yeah. Clear first round talent when it comes to his pass protection. He does need to add a little bit more consistency in the run game, but his movement skills when he's on the move, like when he's on the move in the run game, you can see it. You see where it can become a strength of his. But he's already a first round talent when it comes to pass protection. I do think that if he does add a little bit more in the run game, he'll be okay. But as far as keeping your quarterback upright, I want to say he had 2 sacks in 9 games last year. All around, just a phenomenal pass protector.
Dude, he's a freak. Like athletically speaking, he's an absolute freak. He's a stud. And when you told me you were picking him, I was like, yeah, this checks. Like you've been talking about him all off season, and
all off season.
He's like your dream crush at tackle for us. And it makes sense. I mean, like basically all the same things that we said about Gooseby and how he would fit into the roster and how he would fit developmental wise also apply to Seaton. I'm pretty sure Goosby's a bit bigger, which is kind of why I was leaning that route.
Makes sense.
But like either way, they're both incredibly talented linemen, and we're kind of in need for that.
Like really badly. Real quick, because it's baffling me. Who was Jim Harbaugh's first pick as a Charger?
Joe Alt.
As a Chargers head coach. Thank you. That is immediately who I thought of when I saw Seaton. Joe Alt. When Harbaugh picked Joe Alt, he literally said offensive line, like he basically said offensive linemen are weapons too. And that's what I see with Jordan Seaton. He could be a weapon in the run game if he develops that strength and that consistency when he's pulling, when he's on the move. Because I think that he could actively be a problem in the NFL.
Oh, without a doubt. And I think Harbaugh having the approach that linemen can be weapons is really, really good, because when you have a lineman that's that talented, I'll use Joe Alt, for instance, here. You want to figure out a way to get him into space. You want to figure out a way to let him do the things that he does well. You want him to be the one lead blocking. You want to move him around. Like There's
You
ways
want
to
to
use
move
him as a
into it.
chess piece, and you have to take advantage of that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, that's my number one guy, Jordan Seaton, out in LSU, fighting Lane Kiffins. Oh, that's gonna be so much fun this year. Oh,
It's so crazy that Kiffin ended up at
oh,
LSU, man. It's so crazy. Like I still can't get over it.
so much fun. Oh my gosh, him, Sam. We're gonna have to start talking about Sam Levitt here, buddy. I'm gonna start learning some Sam Levitt on this podcast.
I don't want to. I don't want to. You can't make me. And the
I
fact
don't
that neither
remember
of us picked
asking.
him at QB,
I don't
neither of us
remember
picked him at QB. Spoiler alert. Sorry, everybody.
asking. No, neither of us picked this QB. Actually, my QB is coming up now, from Oklahoma State. Shout out to Clint Goss, my guy. He's the one that showed me this guy, Drew Mestamaker from Oklahoma State.
Our boy Jack is going to be our number one fan.
He's so much fun, and he has a great story. No offers coming out of high school, walked on, very Baker Mayfield-esque with the way that he actually won the Walter Boylish Trophy last year as like the best former walk-on. Yeah, this is the type of guy that we're talking about. Those guys that really live that, hey, underdog. That's who I am. That's what I've always been. Um, freaking like he may not come out either. Again, we have almost nothing but underclassmen because that's who's fun in this draft. That's what makes this draft so much fun.
It really is. It's a lot of fun players in this draft. A lot of them might choose to stay back, but I don't think so. I think a lot of them are going to take the money and run.
I think so too. Now, there's a lot of money in college football, but the way that they're trying to kind of rein that in, you could definitely see 2027 having a lot of guys like, oh, no, let me go ahead and get this, cash and let's keep going. Um, but yeah, really good arm to get the ball downfield, and not just has a good arm, but loves to utilize it. Like he truly is a headhunter down the field. He has pretty good pocket presence. I watched his game against Charlotte, and the game that he threw for 608 yards. His offensive line is not great.
No,
It's not. It's not good. There were a lot of times where he had to get out of the pocket, and the crazy part is there were some throws that he had on there. He could have had more. He threw for 608. He could have had more. There were some bad drops in that game.
I remember that one. That was an insane game. Like I'd been hearing about him, but then he kind of broke out, and I was like, huh, this guy's good.
Yeah, guy's good, man. Goes through his progressions pretty well, especially for in the air raid that he plays in. Gets to his second and third reads really nicely. I will say he has weird mechanics. He throws the ball. The ball comes real low when he throws it. Like it comes from the hip and comes up. That could be an issue. I mean, we already have a quarterback with weird mechanics already. And I don't think, if I'm being honest, I don't know if he has the same zip on the ball that Penix does. So in that regard, it's not necessarily like the best arm talent, but the mental processing, I'm really excited to see how he looks at Oklahoma State under his former head coach again.
Yeah, man, he's an absolute. He's a gunslinger. Like I think that is like truly the word for him is gunslinger because he lets it rip, and some of that's probably air raid oriented. You know, like that's what the air raid's designed to do. R.I.P. Mike Leach.
R.I.P.
Gone too soon. Gone too soon.
Gone way too soon, man.
One of the greats. But like, dude, he just lets it rip, and he has fun. Like you can tell when he's playing, he's just having fun, and that is something I really appreciate about him. I think it's time for my QB though, Saivion.
It is time for your QB, and I'm not shocked. I'm just in love with the fact that you're sticking to the bit. I do.
It's not even a bit. It'd be a bit if he was bad, but he's not. He's so good. My QB that I'm picking for us, this is going to be one of those situations where we're picking top 5. We're in hell. Give me Lenoris Sellers, dude. We were talking earlier about how you need an alien to be able to go toe-to-toe with the Josh Allens of the world, the Mahomeses, the Lamars, the Burrows, the Herberts. Josh Allen is basically, if you copy and paste Josh Allen, you get Lenoris Sellers. Maybe that's a bit bold to say, because I know what people are going to say. Hunter, you're a South Carolina fan. Lenoris Sellers is the South Carolina QB. Oh, what about Anthony Richardson? Piss off, dog. Lenoris Sellers is that guy. He's an absolute freak on the field. He's I think I broke your brain with that one.
It's episode 1, bro.
Dude, it doesn't matter.
Oh,
Lenoris
man.
Sellers is that guy. He's like 6'3", 230. You watch linemen bounce off of him in the college game.
Right.
He tucks in and runs. He goes 40, 50 yards with ease. He can whip it downfield 70 yards with ease. There was a game in his first year. He was in against Furman, which granted it's Furman, whatever. But like, snap comes in, he looks and just fires one-on-one downfield to, I think it was Nick Harbor. And it's just 40 yards downfield, right in the breadbasket with a little flick of the wrist. All the cool things we say about Penix's arm, Sellers has.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, Sellers has some concerns. He has things he needs to improve on. Consistency is a big one for him.
Right.
Injuries are another big one for him. He does get beat up. But I think that might also be more, in fact, due to some outlying issues, like South Carolina might have the worst O-line in football.
It's not great.
It's not good. It's not good.
Yeah.
But like the fact he takes the shots and he gets back up and just keeps on going, dude, it's awesome. And I think you would look at the things that Stefanski likes to do. He likes the zone read, not the zone read. He likes the zone, but you can add in a zone read. You can add in RPOs. You can do all these cool things with the weapons we have on this team around Sellers and go far. Especially in a division as wide open as the South. Like you can take those lumps that come from developing Sellers and roll with it.
The only thing that bugs me about Sellers is the timeline. That's the only thing that bugs me about Sellers, because he is, if let's say that you are on a Josh Allen type, and I'm just playing devil's advocate because you and I know I love Lenoris Sellers. Everything about Lenoris Sellers is the type of quarterback I'm about. I love guys that can add something to the run game, that can truly add something to the run game, and that can essentially make a way out of no way. Because those are the type of quarterbacks that win in today's day and age. This whole thing with Sam Darnold, this is completely new. This is not like Sam Darnold and Jalen Hurts. These are, I still call them aberrations right now because you still have these aliens in the league right now. I do think that there is a part of you that still needs that guy that, let's say, the defense isn't playing at its best. Here's a perfect example. The 2017 Jaguars, right?
Mm-hmm.
They had a game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mountain, you remember how good that team was. They did not have a weakness across that defense.
Mm-hmm.
All 3 levels were completely solid. And the Pittsburgh Steelers still hung up 34 on them because that's just how the playoffs work. Blake Bortles played maybe the best game I've ever seen Blake Bortles play. And this is not saying that Blake Bortles deserves to be anything more than what Blake Bortles became.
Blake Bortles got everything he deserved.
Blake Bortles got everything that he deserved, maybe even a little bit more. Because he will never have to pay for a drink, a meal, anything in the city of Jacksonville again. But I use Blake Bortles to say that you need a quarterback to just in a playoff run when you're trying to get to the Super Bowl, you need a quarterback that will just have a day. That you can say, hey, our defense doesn't have it right now. We need you to have it. We need you to get it. Lenore Sellers is a guy. But I wonder, can he be that guy when you need him to be that guy in 2027 and 2028? Because that's what we're sort of looking at right now when it comes to our window of contention with the trio of guys that we have right now.
Yeah, and I think that's a very valid question for a player like Sellers, who right now his big question is, when will he, right? And exactly. I think you might have to kind of change an offense for him early on in some degree, like just play it to, not necessarily like fully revamp it or anything like that, but you'll just have to figure out a way to like play it to his strengths. Mm-hmm. But if Sellers takes that step this year with Kendall Briles at SC, which if there's any OC that's going to get Sellers to take that step, Kendall Briles is one of them. Right. Then I think, we'll be having the same conversation again in January, February, March, April.
I do agree.
And now this could blow up in my face, and Sellers could be absolute dog shit.
Completely bad. Like they're like the what is it? The range of outcomes is as big as it could possibly be for Sellers.
It's not as bad as Anthony Richardson was, but like it's up there.
With Anthony Richardson, you really had to tell yourself a tale when you at the end of his college career. You had to like, I really thought he was going to go back to Florida.
He should have went back. I truly thought he was going to.
But with him, you could like squint and like see, like, I get the story that you want to tell. I really do. With Lenoris, you're still having to squint a little bit, and the hope is at the end of this year you don't have to squint anymore. It's just there.
To go off the story metaphor, with Richardson, you're having to squint to see the story. With Sellers, you're having to almost look past plot holes.
And this is why I love you, Leonard. That was perfect. That was perfect. Exactly. All right. So I got two now.
No. I still got one more, dog.
You do have one more. Okay. What's your second one?
My second one. I know what people are going to say when I say this. They're going to be like, Hunter, we already have defensive ends. And we do. Mm-hmm. We do. Technically speaking, we do have defensive ends. However, James Pierce Jr. is kind of a question mark at the moment with some things that we are not going to necessarily get into. But there's a question mark floating around James Pierce Jr. And so for the sake of this, I just went ahead and assumed that those question marks are going to go poorly because we're the Falcons, and that's just kind of how it goes. I picked Will Helt from Clemson as my next pick.
Very good pick, by the way.
I appreciate it. He was a transfer from Purdue. Dude's an absolute freak. He's built like Zach Harrison. Absolute monster in the trenches. Had 9 sacks this past year for Clemson. And it's one of those guys that you look at him and you're like, yeah, that guy can play 5 tech. He can play 6 high. He can play 7. He can kick inside on nickel downs. It's one of those guys where you're like, this guy's going to give us versatility. And I know it might be a little redundant to Harrison in some ways, but the hypothetical is if Harrison plays well in whatever role that Ulbrich has for him this coming season, he's probably going to get paid at some point in time.
And it's not going to be us.
They probably won't be us because we'll be looking at how we're going to pay everybody else. But if James Pierce Jr. does implode in legal ramifications for his actions and things like that, which we don't know, we're not speaking on that. It's just a hypothetical if. A guy like Will Helt would be the perfect replacement come draft time.
And I think you always need to have that guy that you can look to on the defensive end or at the defensive end position and say, yeah, I have an edge setter. I have a run stopper. Especially when you don't necessarily know what Jalen Walker is going to be playing. Like, you have a feeling of, hey, he can play outside. Hey, he can play inside if we need him to. In those weird pass rush scenarios where he's going to be like in the A gap or something. But to have that sort of like stabilizing force on the outside to say, hey, this is our guy. This is our guy setting the edge. This is our guy that will be there on first and second down that we can almost make the defense say, hey, we can't run to that side really. We have to figure out another plan of attack. The whole point of having a guy like that is to lower the to take away some of the menus from the offense. To say, hey, those left side runs that we usually like to run, we can't run it right now. Not to that dude. That dude will blow it up. I think Will Help can be another one of those guys. As far as pass rush, yeah, he can get back there. Like you said, he got 9 sacks last year. He does have a little bit of a bag, but what you get bringing on is Zach Harrison replacement. So I really do like that one.
Now, if James Pierce Jr. has no issues, anything like that, then completely ignore everything I just said. We're not drafting this guy. But it's just the big question mark that I feel like we had to address the elephant in the room, and that's how I go about addressing the elephant in the room.
No, that's really good. Really good. Plus, it makes my team look better because he addressed it and I didn't have to. if James Pierce Jr. does crazy things again, then I look like an idiot because I don't have any defensive ends. And it's just like, oh, so you just trusted this guy. And it's like, all right.
Oh, man. I think you're up to your next 2 picks, Saivion.
All right. So pick one for me. All right, guys. So I have a thing for receivers that look like this guy. All right. I can't help it. It's intrigued me ever since this one big behind dude out of Georgia Tech was just catching fade balls in the back of the end zone. And it's just like, hey, who's that? So my next guy is Nick Harbor. Now, do I think that Nick
Hey, Saivion, where's Nick Harbor from?
Okay, bro. Listen, we don't have to. He's a South.
No, it's for the fans. It's for the fans listening.
Yeah, no, he's a South Carolina guy. He's there with Lenore Sellers. I mean, look, the measurables speak for themselves, bro. He's 6'5", 239, and he runs a 4.24 40.
It's something egregious like that. Like I think when combine rolls around, we'll see like low 4.3, but like it's egregious.
It's probably like a 4.31. It's probably what it is. It's probably like a 4.31, 4.32. But he's 6'5", 239 pounds. There's no reason why that body type should be able to move as crisply and as fast as it does. The problem is it is not as crisp. That's the problem, is that he's a very raw route runner. He doesn't really know how to play receiver yet. He's just a track star that just happens to be huge right now. That's what he is. But you can't tell me that, let's say that the Falcons do well this year, right? Let's say that we are picking towards the back half of let's even say the middle of the draft, because we're probably not winning a playoff game. So let's say we're picking, what is the first one, like 17?
So we'll say picking pick 18.
Let's say pick 18. And this guy hasn't shown that, hey, I'm a bona fide wide receiver, Yeah, we have Zachariah Bryant. That's fine. Yes, we have Drake London. We have Kyle Pitts. Awesome. You cannot tell me that this man, as an outside X receiver, next to you want to really enhance what Michael Penix is or what Tua Tagovailoa is? God forbid if you can. But This is basically me if it's Michael Penix. You want to see what Michael Penix can really do? You get him a guy like this to go alongside Drake London and Kyle Pitts and Bijan Robinson. That being your top five: Bijan Robinson, Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Zachariah Brandt, Nick Harbor. What?
Dude, that
Man,
might truly be one of the best like attacks in football.
it's complete fan fiction. I realize that, but I'm at the point in this exercise where I'm just picking cool guys.
He can also run block.
Oh, he's a monster in the run block.
I mean, he's 6'5", 240, so he has to be able to run block, but like
obviously
he can, and
that's
he likes to do it.
He likes to. That's what I'm saying. Plus, do you really think like is Zachariah Branch going to do it? Probably. Is he going to be good at it?
Probably not. Probably not.
And if he
I look
is,
at
ooh,
dude, I look at Nick Harbor. I texted you this the other day. I was
Mhm.
like, dude, I get Christian Watson vibes from Nick Harbor, and
mhm.
even if it's like the exact version of Christian Watson that is in the league, like when healthy,
When healthy.
that's worth picking. I mean, that's a guy that takes the top off the defense. That's a guy that makes explosive plays, yard after catch guy. Like, God forbid you get
Mhm.
Christian Watson into space. And it's the same deal with Harbor. If Harbor catches a slant in the window of the zones,
You're
gone.
not catching him.
He's gone.
You're not
Like,
catching him.
there's nothing that can be done. And you try to man him up on the outside, you better hope your corner can somehow stuff him at the line of scrimmage. Because if he gets past him,
You're not catching him. And that's what I'm saying. Now, I will say, in those respects, if you do happen to stay hip to hip with him, he doesn't have, even with that huge frame, he's not a receiver yet. He doesn't necessarily know how to win at the catch point in the 50-50 ball, which is a bit concerning. But I do think that's something that you can teach him. Am I over my skis when I say that?
no, I don't
That
think
you
so.
can
I think
teach him how to
he's
win?
moldable. He's very moldable.
Yeah. Yeah. It would be nice to have a guy like Ike Hilliard in here to teach him how to do stuff like that. But hey, it is what it is.
It'd be cool. It'd be cool to have like Hilliard back.
It'd be nice. Don't think he'd ever step foot in the Falcons facility again. But hey, it'd be nice. I think it's me again. It is me again.
It is you again.
All right. Next one. So there's only one thing that could really, in my mind, that could really stop Jeff Obert from getting a head coaching opportunity next year. I think there's only one thing, and that's if our run defense is just completely horrible. Like to the point to where we can't do any of the fun things that we did last year because we're so focused on run defense. So to combat that, you get the best run defender in the draft in David Stone from Oklahoma.
Talk to me. Tell me about him, Saivion. Tell me about him.
6'3", 310 pounds, an explosive first step, and apparently from some of the charting that they did over the summer, 4.90 40-yard dash? Question mark. So, I mean, he's not necessarily like the most gifted of pass rushers. I mean, he's 6'3". He can get underneath He can get underneath like a pad, an offensive lineman pad level. But what he can do, he can stuff the run, man, and he can really shock an offensive line with those hands. He is so strong. I mean, he is throwing around SEC offensive linemen. Dudes from Missouri are getting thrown to the turf with this kid. I was so impressed watching him. Like, I will say this is his first. Like, that was only his first year as a starter at Oklahoma, and he did have guys like R. Mason Thomas on the outside that you kind of have to devote some resources to. So we'll see what this year looks like when I don't think they have that guy as much anymore. I think he may be the guy now. But my God, man, I'm excited to see what Oklahoma's defense looks like with him kind of taking on the mantle of being that guy on their defensive line.
No, it's definitely a guy that like I think you'll notice a trend to anybody watching right now that a lot of the guys we're talking about are very much like if they do so and so, they'll get to that.
Mhm.
And that's kind of what this point in the draft cycle typically looks like is okay, this guy could be this guy could be that. And I think that's a guy that if he steps up and is a leader for Oklahoma, then yeah, he's gonna go pretty high. I don't know how high because I think with him it kind of comes down to like measurables in some degree.
Yeah, 6'3", I think was 30-something%. When it came to like the defensive tackle position, so not necessarily the biggest.
No, but it's interesting, you
Yeah.
know.
All right, buddy, you got two more.
These are my last two. I don't even know how to get this one started.
No,
I did
you, hey,
so-
look, I
did this
believe in
myself.
you, bro.
I did this
We're
myself.
46 minutes in.
So, as you know, I get more active on Twitter again, or sorry, X. I don't want to dead name it.
No, we can do whatever we
No,
want.
I'm
to,
still
because he
calling it
did what he
Twitter. It
wanted
just
to.
it sounds better. It sounds better.
Yeah.
I'm a Ryan Newsel hater. I'm not a fan. I don't think he's good. I think he's at best a stopgap. So
According to a chart, Hunter. According to a chart, Hunter, because we read charts on this podcast.
you read
Ryan
charts.
Newsel. Ryan Newsel is what was it? He was at fault the least amount of the percentage of sacks last year, and hurries and pressures. So,
That's good.
yeah,
Good for him. Good for him.
beat
That's
that.
nice. That's nice. I don't think he's good.
He's not.
So I was sitting here looking through the centers because I don't think like I was literally trying to go through the Falcons roster. I was finding weak points, and I was like, okay, what can I do to slot this in, slot that in? How can we make this team like competitive in 2027? Well, there's a center that stuck out to me. UGA fans know him, and that's Drew Bobo. Well, he's listed as a center. I think he can play any of the inside positions.
Anywhere in there.
And he's also on here because I don't think Matthew Bergeron's also good. So Drew Bobo, he's a guy who at the end of the season will be a multi-year SEC starter. He's played on good teams. He's played on good teams that know how to run the ball. And I think also being a coach's kid, it's one of those things where you're going to look at him. You're going to see high football IQ, probably. I won't be in those meetings, but you'll assume high football IQ, experienced player. And if he can be competitive for the starting job at either the left guard or the center position, I think it's one of those guys where you're like, shit, why not?
Yeah.
And I do think he could win the center job from Newsel. I do. I as I'm saying this out loud, I don't know if that's like any indication of how I feel about Drew Bobo or how little I feel about Ryan Newsel. But I do think he could come in and compete for the starting center job, especially if we're losing out on Newsel or Bergeron in free agency.
Right.
It's a cheaper alternative. He's fine. Bobo's fine. Like it's a center. Like you don't really like. Not to discredit anything on the O line.
This is a third round pick.
This is a mid to late round guy that we'd be taking a flyer on with him. This isn't a guy that I'm like, oh, Drew Bobo's gonna be a first round pick. Absolutely not. He's not that. Yeah. He's a guy that I'm like, if he's there in the fourth, cool. Let's do it.
So James Brockemeyer is getting real run as a potential center here. James Brockemeyer last year played for the Miami Hurricanes. Okay? And Brockemeyer is not bad. He's not bad. But in a year where you should be what's it called? Where essentially you should be the whole point of this was to run it back with the line that you had. I'm hearing way too much of James Brockemeyer and for my liking.
I think that's honestly a sign that he could be a hit. Or it's once again an indication that Newsell's bad. I'm probably going to lean that route.
I think that's what it is. And so looking at the center position for next year, that is completely fine with me because it makes perfect sense to me.
Like we were spoiled, man. We were spoiled with Alex Mack.
Oh,
We were spoiled with Todd McClure. Hell, even Drew Dahlman to some degree, we were a little spoiled. The man just couldn't snap the ball.
he just couldn't snap. That's the thing. The blocking part was
He
good.
was quite a solid blocker. He just couldn't snap the ball.
Ball to the quarterback, and that was just. I mean, that's a huge part.
It was really infuriating, actually. It was so frustrating.
But yeah, no, I do think that, and the worst part is Drew Dahlman would have really enjoyed this running game that we have now, and
God, it's so frustrating, man.
It's
When you watch Bergeron and Newsel get blown up like you do,
mhm.
you just want better.
You do.
You just want
for
better.
yourself. You do. I agree with you.
Okay, I'm on to my last pick. It's Bear Alexander, the transfer
nice.
portal, the transfer portal jumper. He's at Colorado. No, hold on. Oregon. No. He was at UGA, then he went to USC. Then he was at Oregon, and now he's at Colorado.
ESPN says Oregon.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Oregon because
I'm gonna go with Oregon.
that feels right. Oregon feels right. I don't think we have any good interior D linemen on this team, Saivion. We got Dorless.
Well, first of all, yeah, I'm not gonna let you say you don't have any good ones. Dorless is a good one. I will say he's good.
Is
It's just
Dorless an
about-
every down? Is Dorless an every down player?
That's not what I said. I said he's good. I said that he's good.
Okay, I'll give you that. I'll give you that one.
Mhm.
But we don't have a guy on this D line, at least in the interior, that like I look at as an every down player, and I think Bear Alexander could be that for us. I think he could be a guy that could play multiple positions among the interior D line. He could play nose if we need. He could kick over to 3. Hell, he could play 4 if we needed him to go that route. Athletically, he's incredibly gifted. He's incredibly disruptive too at the collegiate level. It's just a matter of, can he get his head on straight?
Right.
And that's kind of my big question mark with him, is like a combination of like, because there was a point in time where I think he had a work ethic question when when he hit the portal from UGA.
Right.
So it's like, if between that and any like just shithead mentality mindsets he has, like, are those going to get ironed out? God, I hope so. But in terms of pure talent, man, he's an absolute freak. I think he'd be able to add to this D line in ways that we haven't seen since Rashid Hageman.
I agree wholeheartedly. I feel like you don't get many guys like Bear Alexander. Question for you, just real quick. How many IMG Academy guys did you get? 'Cause I think Alexander's one. I want to say that
Sellers wasn't. I don't think Harper was either.
I thought Harper went to IMG. No, Harper went somewhere else.
Harper was somewhere in like Maryland.
Seton was the IMG guy.
Yeah. So I think that's 2.
Okay.
I think he was my only one. I think Bear Alexander was.
Yeah, but yeah, no. I mean, all Big Ten last year for very good reason. This line really does need an every down guy. I think our only quote unquote every down guy right now is Mason Smith or Deshaun Hand, whoever gets the upper hand.
I don't want Deshaun Hand on passing downs.
I'm just saying whoever gets the upper hand. I'm guessing that's Mason Smith for right now, but how much does that really give you? So yeah, I do think that Bear Alexander would be a great Great addition, 100%.
Well, that's all 5 of mine. Savion, who you got last?
So I had my choice of 2 guys from the same college, also defensive tackles, but
Are you going to
I
do your
feel
honorable mention?
I feel like, oh yeah, he's also going to be my honorable mention. Absolutely. Because that's the guy that I picked actually isn't the guy that I like the most. It's the guy that I think would be there for us. Um, is that cynical? That's cynical. That's pure cynicism. Anyway, I picked Justin Scott out of Miami. Um, I do think he's going to fall to day 2 because he's not necessarily the most productive guy. He's not a big of a pass rusher. I think he only had 2 sacks from the season last year. But not to mention he's a little bit smaller, 6'4", 298, a little bit leaner. And I was looking and I'm like, yo, why do I like this guy so much? I didn't start doing this until 2021. The first guy that I saw was DeMarvin Leal out of Texas A&M. And I was like, okay, that's what the NFL looks like.
I hope our boy Damsky's watching right now. DeMarvin Leal shout in 2026.
That is what a defensive lineman looks like in the NFL. I know it. I know it is. And so I looked and I'm like, man, that guy there, gosh, why do I like this? Why do I like this dude so much? And that's the reason why. He's got that same like stocky type build where it's like you shouldn't be moving that fast at this size. Are you gonna really like do much when it comes to pass rushing? Absolutely not. You don't really have the the difference between like the hands and everything like that to do that. But he is one of those guys that he's got a motor behind him, and in the run game, he's going to find the ball, see ball, get ball with him, and I love guys like that across the defensive line. So shout out Justin Scott, man. That if we end up with him on like late day 2, like we somehow get I could see Ian Cunningham doing some crazy stuff where we get like 2 day 2 picks for no reason, trying to get back as much capital as possible, and we just grab this guy. I'd be very happy.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those guys too that we were just talking about. Like, we don't have an every down player, and I think this is a guy that could slot in there. I do have concerns about him being a bit of a tweener, like you said with DeMarvin Leal, and this might be some PTSD. It's kind of Marlon Davidson in a lot of ways.
I knew you were going to say that.
I think he's much more twitched up than Davidson. But like
Marlon Davidson's a pick 6 on Tom Brady, mind you. How many people can say that?
No, that's fair. That's fair. Not many, but that's kind of the vibe that I get from him, and like the concern with tweeners like that.
Right.
But it's one of those things where the guy's talented, and the D line is kind of hurting for it. The interior D line is, I think, hurting for talent right now. So if he's on the board day 2, you gotta take that.
Absolutely.
All right, Savion, tell everybody about your honorable mention.
All right, so I have 2 honorable mentions that I have. Number 1 is his teammate Ahmad Moten, absolute firecracker in the middle. I remember watching the playoff, and I'm just like, good God, yeah, Ruben Bain, cool. The other edge rusher.
Who are these 2?
The other edge rusher. Wait, who's the other edge rusher? It was Ruben Bain and.
He went to the Chargers.
He did.
I'm blanking on his name.
I can't remember his name. I'll figure it out later. But yeah, I'm looking and I'm like, yeah, these 2 are cool. Who's that? Who's that in the middle that basically looks like Aaron Donald? Like, he couldn't be blocked. He couldn't be blocked the entire time. And I'm like, yo, who is that? Shout out to Ahmad Moten. The second one I struggled with, because I'm like, there's no logical explanation why he would be a Falcon next year, and he doesn't fit the timeline. It doesn't make sense. Trinidad Chambers from Ole Miss. I don't even know if I want you as a Falcon for real. I just want you. I just want the best things in life for you because you made my viewing experience of college football so much fun last year. It was incredible to see some of the things that he did. And do I want him as my franchise quarterback? I'm not sure yet. I think 2027 will be a very big barometer for that. But my God, it was so much fun watching him play football last year.
I knew, dude. I I would have loved to see your argument to try to sell him over Drew Mestamaker.
Every time I try to make one, I'm just like, I can't.
For what it's worth, we limited ourselves to one QB each because we didn't want to hate on our current QBs that badly.
Not to mention, it would just be a QB fest the entire time if we didn't.
Yeah.
All right, you got any honorable mentions for us, man? We've already hit the hour that we were trying to stay under. We knew we weren't going to, but it's whatever.
I almost brought up Arch Manning today.
Yes.
I almost did. And I decided against it. Mostly because I don't think he's gonna be there when we're picking.
Absolutely.
At least I hope he's not there when we're picking.
Brother, the Arizona Cardinals have made an entire shift, the culture in that building is horrendous, just waiting for Arch to save them.
I think Arch gets also way too much flack, if we're being totally honest, on Twitter right now.
His last name is Manning. Of course he does.
No, I understand, like, with the last name like that, you're going to be held to some, like, ungodly high standard, Hall of Fame standard.
I hope he's never on Twitter. I hope he has somebody running his Twitter. That's what I hope for him.
I truly hope he has a social media manager and just decided to stay off social media because people have been saying some diabolical things about Arch Manning on the timeline right now. And he's not, he's good. People are out here trying to tell me that Arch Manning's bad, and that's not the case at all. Do I think he still needs to develop? Yes. And that's why him staying in school was such a good idea, because he gets to work with Sark, who former NFL OC, one of the best minds in college football. And he gets another year to just get used to the speed of play and adjust. And Arch can do some insane things with his arm. Like his ability to find those mid-level throws and hit outside the hashes is incredible. And not to mention he can move, he can boogie. Like, we have the potential of a dual threat Manning. Like,
exactly.
It's insane. And do I think if his last name wasn't Manning, people wouldn't be talking about him as the number 1 overall pick? No, probably not. But he'd still be going top 10. Like he'd still be getting hyped up. People would actually probably be loving him if his last name wasn't Manning. The kid's good.
If this was Arch Love, let's just say that Arch Love, out of Texas, I could see him being Trinidad Chambers like, to where it's like, do I think that he could be my guy? He could be. That's fine. But I think it might be a little bit more than that. I think Trinidad Chambers has too many red flags. I think I'll go.
I think you put him in the same argument as you do Sellers, where this dude has.
I think that's.
He has everything you want out of your QB1.
Yeah, I think that's good. Yeah,
but question marks. And and by no means am I saying Sellers and Arch are the same, because they're not. They're very different QBs. But I think you approach how you talk about them in a similar manner. I think you acknowledge these guys are both insanely talented. They can do things with their arm that maybe 10 QBs in the NFL can do. And they can also boogie. Both of them can boogie. And I truly think people would be like, Arch Manning or Arch Love is still my QB1. But like, they'd be taking it as like a sleeper approach, where he's like, he's going to be good, and I think that's fair. Like, I think that's what Arch is he's a guy that you look at and you're like, damn, this kid could be and should probably be a number 1 overall pick because of XYZ things. is he going to get there? And I think he will. I think Arch will, which is why I chose not to talk about him.
You have any more, my boy?
Not yet. I kind of want to see how we're looking before I start trying to plug in other holes. Because like if we decide that our linebackers suck, then yeah, I'll be probably pulling some linebackers. And if we decide that, oh my God, Billy Bowman hasn't come back from this Achilles injury, I'll be looking for nickels and so on and so forth. But like
Sir, Kendall Daniels and Harold Perkins are right there. We will be completely fine at linebacker.
Oh, don't worry, my boy Troy Anderson's coming back.
Oh, Troy Henderson is returned from Snake Way, man.
He is back from his training with King Kai, and he's going to be set, dog. He's going to be set. But I don't know, man. We were talking about it before we started. This Falcons team's so good and also so terrible all at the same time. Like, you look at the roster, and it's very much one of those things where you look at it and you're like, wow, they have a lot of good players.
On paper, you just look at it and it's like, man, you know, this team might actually do something. Is it special? It's not special, but this team could really do something. Like you could easily
win the South.
You could easily talk yourself into this being a division winner, or you could think, like I've looked at it and it's like, is this possibly a 10-win team?
Like,
and then you remember
if Penix and Tua can do what they're supposed to do this season, then yeah, dude, this team can easily make a run for the division in a playoff spot. But like, you still got Ryan Nuzels. You still got no real interior D linemen. I mean, you got Dorless, you got Zach Harrison, but they're kind of gimmicks in a way of playing the interior D line.
You still have true questions at linebacker. We joke about like Kendall Perkins and like Troy Anderson and all that, but we do have real questions at linebacker. And at the other cornerback spot, we don't know that Avion Terrell is going to hit the ground running.
Hell, we don't know if Zachariah Branch is going to hit the ground running. You know, we might still be stuck with the Drake London and Kyle Pitts show.
And we've seen how that has worked for.
And
that's worked so far. So
we don't want to come off this negative. Like that's. We truly try to take a realistic approach to how we talk about this team and how we feel about this team.
But it feels like the realistic approach always feels negative.
One thing we will never do on this podcast or YouTube series, whatever you want to call us, is we're never going to sit here and we're not going to sugarcoat it. You know, we're going to sit here and tell it like it is on how we feel about this team. We're going to sit here and tell it like it is how we feel about prospects. And obviously with prospects, it's a little bit more like this could be a boat, but it's one of those things where we want the team to get better. Are you just now laughing at that could be a boat?
Could be so many things. It could even be a boat. You know how much you wanted one of those.
Peter, we can pick a boat right here.
All right, we gotta go, bro. This is almost 70 minutes.
We gotta go. But we're always gonna tell it like it is. We're not gonna sugarcoat it. We're not gonna be that podcast. We want to be true and honest about how we feel, and that's why we're doing it.
Exactly. All right, Hunt. Where can they find you on the Twitter machine?
You can find me on Twitter right here at HThompsonFB. You'll probably see me tweeting about football, maybe the occasional movie. But yeah.
You'll find me, Saivion Mixon. It is literally my name at Saivion Mixon. I don't know how I got it. I guess my name is that unique. We'll take it. Thank you guys so much, man. Follow the pod. Hunter, what's the pod at on Twitter?
Well, on Twitter, it is at Falcons Draft HQ, I believe. Oh, God. Let me check. We were fighting for copyright names. Just kidding. We weren't fighting for copyright names. We were fighting for handles. Surprisingly, there's a lot of Falcons draft-related things out there. It is Falcons Draft HQ on Twitter. On YouTube, I'm not 100% certain where this one ended up, because I thought it was going to end up on our YouTube channel, but I don't think it's on our YouTube channel. I think StreamYard made some tomfoolery happen, and it's uploaded somewhere. It's just not on the actual YouTube channel for Dirty Birds Drafts HQ. But the link is out there. The link is out there, and we're gonna have it. We're gonna have it squared away for the next episode. Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for listening and for watching. We appreciate you. Do not forget to like, share, subscribe, all the things that Twitter and YouTube and Spotify, Apple Music, everything, all the podcasts, everything that they do. Thank you guys so much for watching. We appreciate you. Later.